Kelly, I really enjoy playing guitar. Well, actually, probably more, I enjoy shopping for guitars. That sounds probably a little, well, it is bad. And occasionally I'll find a guitar that it's just an incredible bargain. And sometimes I get to buy it, sometimes I don't. But I'm always faced with a decision when I don't get to buy another guitar. And it's, how am I going to respond?
I see a lot of responses that are temper tantrums in my area.
Yeah, sometimes I do that.
Oh, sorry, Micah. Eek. Well, what about you, families? How do you respond when you don't get something you want? Who throws the best temper tantrum in your family? Go ahead and push pause and talk about that. Welcome back. I hope you had a fun discussion and nobody threw a temper tantrum during that.
You know that for small groups, for us on Sundays for the students, we've been walking through the book of Jonah, and this past week we finished chapter 4, and when at the beginning of chapter 4, Jonah responds in a really interesting way. In fact, families, we want you to grab a Bible, open to Jonah chapter 4, and read verses 1 through 3, and then come back. We'll wait for you. All right, welcome back. You know, those verses, I just find it fascinating that Jonah more or less throws a temper tantrum at God. He says, I knew you were going to do this. And what's even more funny is what he's mad about God about. It's that God was gracious and merciful. And sometimes we do that. Those are both good things. Why would we be upset about God's graciousness, fullness, his grace and his mercy? Why would we be upset about those things? Right. Sometimes that doesn't make sense to me.
You know, sometimes I think when we get upset, it's not at whatever the situation is at that time. It may be something we're fearful about or concerned about that has nothing to do with the situation. Like, we are going through difficult times right now, and that may be something that is stressful and frustrating, but yet because somebody moved something in the house that was yours, you got upset. So sometimes we don't always react at what's really going on, and it helps me to remember when I do that, when I get upset with something, okay, what am I really upset about? Let's stop and think about that, and then that allows me to pause, figure out what really is going on, and then I can talk to the Lord about that and say, okay, God, you know, I need to talk to you about this because I have a really stinky attitude. Sometimes it's when I'm driving and I go, oh, sorry, God, that was not the thought I should have had. You know, those kind of things.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, this week, our challenge for you is really pretty simple. We want you to call a family member and just ask them how you can pray for them. It could be grandparents, someone who doesn't live in the same house as you. It's not yelling across the house, hey, Mom, but actually getting on the phone or on the computer and calling. You could do a video call, but ask them how you could pray for them, and then maybe even pray for them right then and there so they hear you pray for them, and that's always something fun to do. So that's our challenge. Call a family member, ask how you can pray for them, and pray for them. Okay? Thanks for joining us, and we will look forward to seeing you next week.